My name is Grzegorz Rogowski and I'm the author of the book Skazane na zapomnienie polskiej aktorki filmowej na emigrację, and I would like to tell you about Janina Wilczówna, a wonderful pre-war actress. Janina Wilczówna was reportedly born on the Warsaw-Moscow train on March 21st, 1917. In her official emigration documents, however, she always entered Warsaw in 1916 as her place of birth. Most likely, both of these dates were false, and Janina was born around 1910. Janina made her debut just 2 months after the exam at the Państwowy Instytut Sztuki Teatralnej in summer 1936 as Arabella in the play Pickwick's Club. In the mid-November, however, she appeared in the Teatr Mały, in the comedy by Jarosław Iwaszkiewicz Lato w Noailles, in a small role of Madeleine. In the summer of 1937, she appeared as a Phyllis in the play Subretka, and at the end of 1937, at the Teatr Mały in the role of Jadzia in Maria Mrozowicz-Szczepkowska z Walący się dom. Her last major role before the war was in Little Dorrit at the Teatr Polski, based on the novel of Charles Dickens. People associated with the film industry were also present among the audience attending the final exam at the Państwowy Instytut Sztuki Teatralnej. The titan of mass film production, Michał Waszyński, prepared the film Bolek I Lolek in the summer of 1936 and offered one of the main roles to Janina. Another adventure with the film was the role in the adaptation of Stanisław Moniuszko's opera Halka, directed by Juliusz Garden. The director was so pleased with the work with Wilczówna that he also involved her in his next movie, Dr. Murek, based on 2 novels by Tadeusz Dołęga-Mostowicz. In the spring of 1939, Janina was engaged by the French film studio Lucia Film for the film The Last Night. However, the film was never made. The war forced the actress to look for a job unrelated to her previously artistic activity. She started working in the French Red Cross, and then got a job as a clerk in the Polish Ministry of Military Affairs in France. In March 1940, she performed at the Polish theater in Paris, but when Hitler was occupying another areas of France, she went with the previously met Theodor Dzierżgowski to Biarritz, near the Spanish border. Perhaps the war atmosphere pushed Theodor to propose to and marry Janina on April 30, 1940. After the wedding, Theodor persuaded his wife to leave Great Britain. The actress got a job there in one of the offices of the Polish government. She was also active artistically several times there. On September 4th, 1942, Janina boarded on the Polish cargo ship Stalowa Wola and left for New York. Polski Teatr Artystów was established there with Janina engaged. The actress also appeared in Polish broadcasts on the radio WHON. However, these activities were not enough to support her in New York, so Janina started working at the Polish consulate. However, she was not assigned to any of the official cells of the consulate, but to so-called STZ, a Polish intelligence facility operating in both Americas. The time spent at STZ resulted not only in a financial stability, but also in completely unexpected feeling and marriage to with her superior Stanisław Sławik. After the end of the war and loss of his job at STZ, Janina's husband began to convince his wife to move to Florida. They decided to take this great step in March 1949. However, they slightly changed the purpose of their journey. It was no longer Florida, but sunny California. They drove there in a small car that broke down somewhere outside Dallas. The owner of the garage where they repaired the car offered Stanisław a job as a sales manager. After a short consultation, the couple decided to give up further journey and stay in Texas. Janina also found a job there as a saleswoman, and a few years later, with the financial support of few friends, the Slavic family opened a restaurant called Old Warsaw. After a few months of poor traffic, they finally achieved a huge success. The restaurant had became so popular that you have to wait for a table for a weeks. Old Warsaw was more than an elegant place where you could eat excellent dishes. It was an exceptionally dynamic center of life of the entire Polish community in Texas. The popularity of the restaurant is evidenced by the names of people who visited. For example, Maurice Chevalier or Marlena Dietrich. At the end of the 70s, Janina began to be seriously ill. She died on September 17th, 1979. She was a heavy smoker. The enormous amounts of tobacco smoked had an impact on her health. And as we can see on her death certificate, there is listed bronchogenic lung cancer as a cause of her death.